pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one
nation,
nation, under
under
God,
God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Did you want to call the names? Yeah.
Wayne,
Here.
Bruce,
Here.
Roger,
Here.
John.
Here?
Our visitor this evening is Claire Garcia, and our landscape coordinator, Jeannie Lodemeyer, is also present.
Okay, looking at the agenda for tonight, we need a motion for approval.
I would move to approve tonight's agenda.
I would second that.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, looking at the park board minutes for April 6 on 2022. Any comments or need a motion for approval?
I would move to approve the minutes.
Second,
I'll second that.
favor?
Aye.
In terms of grants, it's been somewhat in a holding pattern. I had 2 hip replacements in the last 4 months, so I've been, as they say, indisposed. One area of interest that I have, if you've been watching or following something about the Cop House project here in the community, that's going to be a major community project that has a lot of really, if you follow what's gone on in Wade, in St. Cloud, it can going to be a very powerful place. That's where I'm looking at right at the moment. Okay, number 6. Bill, do you want to talk about anything in the amphitheater?
Yeah, I don't have a whole lot to share. We opened Saturday and Sunday with 2 concerts. Saturday night was Aaron Lewis, and then Sunday was with Home Free. Both went off very, very well for the first ones of the year. Had a little bit of an issues with some of the hiccups for the first concert of the year, but we will have those all resolved for the one coming up in June 11th is Turnpike Troubadours, which will be our largest crowd that we will probably ever see out there. Sold 5,500 tickets. It's sold out. So it's, and then follow it up 3 days later with Tuesday night performance by Jackson Brown. Then we'll take some time off and then come back gangbusters in July with a number of different acts. The Jeannie, I want to take a shout out for her to obviously welcome her as landscape coordinator, which we'll get to in a little bit. But Jeannie took it upon herself to work with Woods to get all the planters, flowers, and organized to get the planters up and running at the ledge. Is there 20-some? Six big, yeah. Yeah, so it looks, they're really young yet, so, but give them another month and they're gonna look absolutely beautiful. So I do appreciate your effort that did that to try to keep that project moving forward. So other than that, I really don't have a whole lot. We're looking forward to another successful year, and if you get a chance to come on out, do so.
Okay, moving on to the landscape coordinator. We welcome you.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me. First and foremost, they did a beautiful article on our volunteers. Janice on the board, and also probably the longest volunteer for the flowers, and Claire were both spotlighted on the St. Cloud Times. Article is exceptional, so it was very well done and very pleased about that. I noticed in your last minutes that you chose not to do the new garden that's on the Healthy Living Trail. We were able to secure some funding for that through the Family Fun Fest. So that garden has been paid in full, and plants are on order, and we should be seeing them in the next 5 to 10 days from Woods Nursery. So we can start cleaning that garden out, getting some fertilizer in there, and finishing out that garden. That's been a long time coming. That was the garden that was the contest winner. We sat down and looked at 8 different patterns and chose one. So, and Janice, you might know a little bit more about it, but I think it was a child or a young adult who designed this garden.
This was the grandson of one of our volunteers.
Perfect, perfect. So the new garden is being funded by the Family Fun Fest, the Wake Park Family Fun Fest, and big shout out to them for a thank you for donating back to the city. This year, right now, we have all of our pots planted, which is 8 at City Hall, 13 down Community Park, 12 at the library, and 6 at City Garage, and that's not counting the amphitheater. So we've got all of those completed. Volunteers got their thumbs dirty and green on Saturday. We planted out a bunch of plants. We cleaned out gardens. We were able to clean out one garden down by the Healthy Living Trail. Many weeds were pulled. And Bill was also able to secure a watering person. So that person will be starting very soon getting water into the plants and into the pots. My goal this year as a coordinator is to meet with all of the volunteers and their special gardens. I think one of the things that I know would be really helpful for whoever takes this position on in the future is the size of the garden, what's in the garden, where the garden is located, who's the volunteer for that garden, along with crossover as far as plants. Many gardens we're looking at saying, take this out and we need this, where we may have a secondary or a third garden that has exactly what we need instead of putting that back into the wish list to the nursery. We may as well use what we have before we run off to the nursery for additional services. And I think we can easily do that. Many times it's just a matter of what they want, not necessarily a specific plant, but in a color or in, the spreading or sun, shade. So sometimes we can work around that. If one garden has too much of something, I think it's good that we fill the others with that first and see if there's a need somewhere else. So now the focus is on the new garden and meeting with the volunteers. I have a wish list for Bill that I will be sending to him. And other than that, what the volunteers for this group may not be large in number, but they're large in heart. These folks give 110%. We were sending them home on Saturday because they were seeing spots. It's hot, go home, drink water, get in the shade. So that's, they will keep going and going. They are the Energizer Bunny of garden folks. So kudos to them. And we will be working on certain things with Bill, on getting some access to water and getting some other things lined up here that between he and his staff and myself, we can figure out. That's it. Short and sweet, folks.
And I'll add a couple things. I've been more involved, not greatly involved, but what I have seen from the volunteers is the passion. When you go to their meetings, it's pretty cool to see. Kind of remiss that I didn't notice that before. So I think that's always been there. And a big shout out from my side is thank you to all those volunteers. And it is pretty cool to see. as Jeannie alluded, I've hired a person from the Flower Group he's actually a city employee, seasonal employee that has access to our building to a pickup with a watering tank on it. So in previous years, it's always been a struggle for Public Works to find a body to go out and water at a whim, or we need water in these planters, or this garden needs planting or water. The beauty of this is the gentleman's doing it, and he can do it whenever he wants, whenever the time fits, and they also know when they need water versus, oh, we need water today. Well, that's just not gonna happen. So hopefully this experiment this year works really well, and it'll take a lot of stress off of Public Works. Sorry about that, folks. Sorry about that. The other thing is, home base used to be our old Public Works at 602, and Centric Air is still there. I'm not sure if you and your group have set that up yet, Jeannie, or gotten much time, but we are converting the warming house at Rivers Edge Park to their kind of home base. There's a small garage there, and in the warming house can work as a small meeting room or whatever they want to do. To be determined where we relocate that in the future is to be determined yet, but trying to give them a sense of home is really what I'm trying to find. And at this time, that's the best we can do, and we will continue to move forward and hope that works out. And yeah, I'm looking forward to see where this goes. I've got no doubts we're going to be doing great things, and it'll look very beautiful out there. We chose this year not to hang plants on 3rd Street Trail in the baskets. Just too much to do, too fast, too early. So we'll take some time, I think, over the summer, and you guys can evaluate what that looks like. And that's about all I have. So again, welcome aboard, Jeannie. Welcome, thank you. Thank you to all the flower volunteers. I do have one question. Are we doing a plant sale this year? Yes. Do you want to take time to make an announcement on that?
Do you want to, or should I? Go ahead.
The plant sale will be on April 9th. That's a Thursday during Spass Time.
June 9th.
Thursday.
Yep. Yeah, you said April, but that's all right.
Thursday, June 9th. Boy, I got that mixed up. Huh? Anyhow, we are potting plants and collecting pots. And if anybody has pots that they don't need, they can drop them off for us. We'll be happy to get them. And we'll use them.
Yes.
That's one of the big things, because we do have a lot of plants in our gardens that we will put up for sale. You want to say more?
Can you explain what you're doing with the money? You're raising money for what? I know that there's a cause, so if you'd like
Well,
to share with that.
Yeah, we were raising money for a fountain on the trail. Because we don't make a whole lot of money each time, it takes a long time, but that's what we've been planning to do. We're not sure what direction that's going to take or where it would be located, but that was the original plan.
Right, and the sale, if you're not able to donate but are interested in purchasing, the sale will be located on 13th Avenue, where the open shelter is just north of City Hall. Plenty of parking, and if you stick around long enough, you can see the parade.
Okay, moving on to park update.
Not a whole lot to report, except that I want the park board to understand. I am working with a couple of contractors and Department of Health, basically the county health department, The quad building at the River's Edge Park, the center quad building is 22 years old now and hasn't been touched. Roofing needs to be taken care of, window siding. We have some doors issues. Also, the concession stand doesn't meet health code issues anymore. So I'm working on trying to get numbers and quotes to what it's going to take to remodel, to bring it back up, get a new roof on it. At the same time, we're also looking at the existing community park buildings, what we call the Octagon and the beer stand. Is that right? Many years, I still think I get that goofed up. And then the open air shelter, which Jeannie and Janice referred to. All of them need new roofs. Some have some electrical issues. Some have some issues that are from the health department. So I'm preparing basically a laundry list of all the park buildings in Community Park and River's Edge. And then I will be taking that forward to the council to ask them what they want to do. And it's been in my budget for years, but we always defer and wait. Money would come out of Parkland Fund, but till we finish up the amphitheater and know where all the funds transferred, I don't know how much money we have and where this is going to go. So hopefully here it might be the end of June at the work session, and I don't know if I'll have all the information, but we're working on that and trying to come up with different ideas and plans of what we're going to do for our park buildings. And the other one that we're adding to it is, well, the original quad wagon wheel dugouts roofs need to be done. There's some fencing that needs to be fixed up. So it's 22 years and it hasn't been touched, so it's time that it needs some TLC and some readjustment. The other one that we're looking at is the city owns the white building on the corner of 13th and 3rd Street. That's where the Boy Scouts are out, hold their stuff out of. That's our building. They leased it from us, so that roof needs to be replaced and some of the siding. So I'm putting together this huge package and like a grocery list, and then I'll talk to the council and see which way they want to go. And obviously, it's going to be a phased in over a couple of years, and so I'll have more to report as we move forward. But that's my task this year, is to try to get some sort of direction and know what we need to do. The rest of the parks, we're trying to keep the grass mowed. It's growing faster than ever, and we are actually so short-staffed that we'll probably end up having to contract out some. So you might see a lawn care company cutting some parks just for us to kind of catch up. So we're still staffed, understaffed with seasonals and lawnmowers, and so it's going to be a hard year for everybody on our side, but we're going to do the bare minimum, what we can do to keep everything going. Splash pad is down. It's not running yet. We had a couple broken pipes underneath the footing of the building, so the guys will be working on that tomorrow, hopefully excavate it and hope we can get it fixed. And maybe by the end of next week we could have it up and running, but I'm not going to say for sure. So if you're wondering, if you go by and it's not running, that's what's going on down there. We still have to put all the umbrellas up down there, which I don't have staff for right now. That's going to probably be a couple weeks. We got Family Fun Fest next week, so any bodies that we need to be working on that. So just understand, Park Board and citizens, we're doing the best we can as fast as we can, but we'll get there. So other than that, that's all I really have for park updates, unless there's any questions from anybody.
Okay, another business?
I have two items here that refer back to the minutes. Just FYI, I asked for your recommendation to approve that trail resolution, earmarking Wobegon Trail in Wake Park for a U.S. trail. Council did approve that, so I just want you to know that council approved it, sent it on. I haven't heard any more on it, but and then to follow up is our strategic plan was, well, it's called the umbrella is the strategic plan that's still moving forward. But we held our future search, that 3-day event at Public Works in mid to late April. I know Roger attended that on behalf of the park board. I felt it was very well run. I think it was there was a lot of great ideas that came out of it. The camaraderie of a bunch of people that maybe didn't know each other, working well together. All facets from age to gender, to religion, to types of ownerships, business owners. It was fantastic, and we got a lot of good things out of it. I'm going to wait for just a little bit longer to bring forward a lot of the results out of it. I will tell you this, that one of the major ones was making sure that Park and Rec is it was very high on the list of all, and along with beautification, which is more in what our wheelhouses are here. But it reached across all facets, transportation to housing, to education, to environment. So Roger, if
It
you
was, like I say, it was well attended. I enjoyed it. There was a lot of people there. Like Bill said, from all walks of life, from all whatever, but everybody had an opinion, everybody had their say, so, and everything was taken, jotted down, so now on to move on to the next people that'll take care of it. But it was enjoyable. I enjoyed it. Thank you very much.
Bill, what is the timeline on that? When will they get back with some of that information?
It's probably going to be through the summer. So the next step is to take that. We're working with council on honing down. I think we had 8, quote, they called them common ground statements during the event. We're changing it to vision statements. And basically, each of these vision statements will be used in the future by any of the department heads coming to council. So let's just say one would be is to expand recreation in the city. And so I would put together some sort of a proposal that's I'm just throwing things out there, and I know we're not going to do it, but let's say that we wanted to build an aquatic center, okay? And when that proposal comes forward to the park board, you're going to see a proposal from me saying that I think we should look at doing an aquatic center. Not saying we're doing that. And it will say it's tied back to the strategic plan, because the strategic plan says we want to expand in these certain areas. So it gives the department heads and the council and the boards direction, making sure that we're making decisions on what we want to do, that it's tied to one of those goals.
Based on input then from the community?
Correct. There's a few of them that are going to be city-driven or city staff-driven, and there's probably half of them that are going to be community-based. So it'll be community leaders or groups that will take over and spearhead driving a certain facet of that. So I think at this point, we're looking at somewhere towards late August, maybe the end of September, to have a concise package put together. But we're still working through some of those details.
Good to know.
Yeah,
Thank you.
no, it's very exciting for the city. And again, it was premised on what does the city look like in 2043, which is our sesquicentennial, so when we turn 150 years old. So it was a lot of good stuff. I was probably the most amazed at the camaraderie that was forged between individuals that I never met. And Roger shaking his head, I think the same thing. It was pretty cool to, I don't know you, but at the end of it, it's like, oh, we can go have coffee together, and you forged that relationship, which was very interesting, so. And then, that's it, so that's all I got.
Anything else for business people, board members would like to bring up? If not, we notice that the next meeting is on August 3rd at 6:30. Have a motion to adjourn.
Will we adjourn?
Second.
All in favor?
I,
Thank you.
I have a suggestion.